Last year, the Bengals lost the AFC title. 2 years ago, they lost the Super Bowl, so they went to back-to-back AFC championship games. And it makes me think of the movie Moneyball, actually. You know, Joe Burrow is still trying to win the last game of the year. And they're going to try again this year, man. They kept the group together. They've got their 3 stud receivers, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Makes me wonder how long they can keep that big 3 together. I'm not really sure. Contracts are coming up. They were able to keep Joe Mixon with a reduced contract. The Bengals also were able to hold on to their defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo. He's amazing. He's a fun defensive coordinator. I love his system. He's got these complicated schemes that make it really tough for opposing quarterbacks. I like him. This team last year was 1 score away from going to back-to-back Super Bowls. The Bengals are a really good football team. And they didn't make a lot of moves this offseason. They tried to keep everyone they could. They lost 2 safeties. They lost Jesse Bates and Von Bell. So they've got kind of an unproven secondary. They have Nick Scott and second-year safety Dax Hill with the belief that rookie Jordan Battle is going to be in the mix in the secondary to play safety as well. And the Bengals are likely starting a second-year corner, Cam Taylor-Britt. Again, it's these unproven guys in their secondary that make me go, we'll see. But again, it's hard. When you got this team that's going to back-to-back AFC title games and in the playoffs every year, it's hard to keep your group together. For the most part, the Bengals kept their group of guys together. They even made one really big addition. They lost 2 safeties. They got some uncertainty there, but they added a star left tackle, Orlando Brown. And to me, it's not the end forever of their problems on the offensive line, but adding Orlando Brown, it made their offensive line better, and it's like having a centerpiece. It's just they can build everything around him. And they're going to need, as the years go on, other players. But I think we're going to see Orlando Brown become just a mainstay on their offensive line for years to come, protecting Joe Burrow. And that makes me really, really happy to see. Now, the biggest weakness, though, I said they didn't make a lot of changes. The Bengals didn't. The Bengals are relatively similar to what they were last year. They're almost the same team with an addition at left tackle and a couple new safeties. The weakness in Cincinnati is their pass rush. They were 29th in sacks last year, and it's still basically the same defensive line group. I'm not sure how the Bengals are going to get pressure on opposing quarterbacks. It's going to take, we talked about Lou Anarumo's, why am I struggling with that last name? Whatever, it doesn't matter. They're struggling, I'm struggling with that. I think they're going to have to design a lot of creative blitzes and, what's the word? Manufacture pass rush on a quarterback with bringing blitzers and complicating stuff because their D-line alone isn't getting pressure on quarterbacks. 29th in sacks last year is not great, especially when you realize the group didn't do anything to change what they're doing. So I've got concerns on defense, man. I'm worried about their secondary. They got a lot of guys that are unproven. And they can't get pressure on opposing quarterbacks, which isn't great. When you're playing Lamar Jackson and he's got a bunch of weapons to throw to, he's not under duress, and the guys guarding their receivers aren't as talented, that's a problem. And so I worry that the Bengals could take a step back this year. It's not because they're a worse football team than they were last year. The Bengals are basically the same team they were last year. However, the AFC around them got way, way better. The Jets have Aaron Rodgers. The Browns are going to have Deshaun Watson. Lamar Jackson got a lot of help in Baltimore. The AFC has got so many good teams. And, I have the Bengals going 12-5 this year. Again, they won 12 games last year. They went 12-4 because the Bills game never got finished. So that was kind of a weird, as far as standings, it kind of screwed everything up. But I think they're going to win 12 games again this fall. And I worry that might be too high. I gave them 12 wins because when I looked at their schedule, I went through everything, and I was like, are you sure, Zach? I'm like, yeah, that's it. And I actually wanted to go lower given how much everything around them has improved. But then I go back to their team is basically the same, and they still have Joe Burrow with a better offensive line. It's hard to doubt Joe Burrow. I'm trying to give Joe Burrow the benefit of the doubt. But if they finish third in the AFC North, I would not be shocked. I mean, the Browns are better, the Ravens are better, and the Bengals don't have a great pass rush. They've got big question marks in their secondary. And I worry about them, man. Like after their bye week, they play like Houston and Indianapolis, and those are going to be easier games, but they've got 9. Like it's like a gauntlet. After their bye week, they've got these 9 brutal games where you're like, oh, I would not want to play that schedule at all. I mean, the back half of the year for Cincinnati is really, really tough. And, it's just hard to sustain the levels of success that Cincinnati's had recently. Back-to-back AFC titles, winning almost every year, winning your division 2 years in a row. It's just hard to keep it going. And even if the Bengals got a little better this offseason, adding an amazing left tackle, that's a huge deal. I just think all the other teams around them in the AFC got that much better. And it's really shocking to me how much more talent I see in the AFC as opposed to the NFC in the NFL. The AFC teams are way better. I'd be shocked if an AFC team didn't win the Super Bowl, given how good it is in the AFC over there. And I guess I wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals take a small step backward. I have them at 12-5. I could see that being 11-7 or 11-6 or 10-7, because again, I want to acknowledge they got a tough schedule the second half of the year. They've got a bad combination, which is an inability to make opposing quarterbacks uncomfortable. They're not getting after the quarterback. They've got an unproven secondary. That's a problem. And if they finish third in the AFC North, I would not be shocked. I'd be disappointed. I love Joe Burrow. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. That's why the Bengals have 12 wins in my predictions. But again, I have concerns about this football team that I do not have about other teams in the AFC, and that makes me not feel great.